This is photo up tape.
Hey, I'm going to raise it. Send me a copy. Most of your stuff I just kind of can.
Gentlemen, I think we better get started here. First of all, because in spite of a remarkable explanation that I gave fully, everybody heard of the Democrats on Lebanon, I still think that there are a few questions that you might have and that we can answer here this morning. And I'd like to start off with asking Secretary Shultz for speak first on the subject. As you know, they're meeting in Geneva now in Lebanon. We have hopes.
Mr. President, it's hard for a Marine to speak about Lebanon right now without, on the one hand, a sense of pride, and on the other, a lump in the throat. Nevertheless, we are there for important purposes connected with our overall objectives in the Middle East, as well as in Lebanon. I think in terms of immediate things that aren't just repeating what everyone knows, the talks have gotten underway in Geneva. The various leaders checked their pistols at the door, and they have started. It's a tough situation. However, it's the first time in decades that they have done this, and there is going to be, we expect, a real effort at national reconciliation. I'd like to point out one thing that is not noticed very much, but which I think is of tremendous long-term importance, and long-term importance to us as we think about the role of our own forces there and about the day when they may return. And that is the development of the Lebanese armed forces, their regular army. It's been a long time since the central government of Lebanon has had any armed force of its own. And with the help of our military people, that force has grown from a standing start 8 or 9 months ago to a force now of some 30,000 or so. It is the one multi-confessional organized unit in Lebanon. And it works. It's done well. And since the ceasefire, it has added to its ranks. It has continued to recruit. It has received additional supplies from us and from the French, and it's gaining in strength. And I think that's an underlying thing. It takes a while, and it'll continue to take a while, but that's a very important development to keep your eye on because it has a great long-term significance. I know that you have a big agenda. I'll stop at that point and respond to questions or whatever you'd like.
Well, or would you like to, I'm going to call on Cap and General to complete it, and then all of you be available for anything that you might have here. Cap?
Sure. Mr. President, we had in no tactical change in Beirut and no incidents, fortunately, overnight or in the last couple of days. Sniper fire continues to come in. Since the bombing and disaster, which was only a week ago, although it seems like a couple of years, there have been 2 more wounded, but not seriously and returning to duty. But the sniper fire does continue. There has been a new rifle company added for additional protection and to fill out the, really relieve the people who have been working in such a terrible pace in the last few days to try to uncover the remaining bodies or see if there were any wounded still there. And the final count is at 231 with 69 wounded. And that is believed to be final in the sense that the rubble has been as thoroughly examined as possible at the moment. The Marine group that has completed its work in Grenada is on its way to its original mission, and is to relieve in a normal rotation the group that is in Lebanon now, and that will take place about the middle of this month. And at that time, the additional rental company that has been put there to relieve the people who are performing all of these special duties will come out also. So we'll go back to our regular strength, which will be about 1,600. And General Kelly testified yesterday. He testifies again today, and he and I testify tomorrow on the various events and the security precautions. And some of these have been outlined in a opening statement that he gave to the Senate Armed Services Committee yesterday, and it will be the same statement that he used in the subsequent testimony, John, today and tomorrow. And basically, this traces the chronology and the difficult part of the mission there, which is to keep the airport open and enable them to act as a civilian government, the Lebanese. There are problems because when the airport's opened or closed is under Lebanese government control. And the desire, of course, is to have the maximum, access. The period of time between the time that this suicide truck crashed through the first marine gate and thereby gave the first evidence of what it was about, and the time when the explosion went off, 6 seconds. And the truck was fired upon, but of course is totally and completely obliterated, so we have no way of knowing whether the fire had any effect or not. But it was fired upon, and it was in that range of time that this whole incident took place. And there are a number of things that can be done in the way of trying to reduce this specific kind of incident. It's also important to bear in mind that the men were in this building because it was one of the few intact, reinforced concrete solid structures that was standing. And the principal threat up until the time this happened, of course, was the fear of sniper fire and machine gun, mortar, automatic weapons. And the building did give great protection against that kind of thing. It did not give protection against the suicide mission. Otherwise, Mr. President, there's been no basic change in the tactical situation there. Jeff, you want to add anything on it?
As you said, Mr. Secretary, General Kelly has returned from his trip out there, and the Deputy Commander of the U.S. European Command also visited to look at new security measures that could be taken. And I want to tell you that that's just the last in a long series of teams that have been sent out there to look at what security measures could be taken to increase the security of the Marines. And that, everything that they've recommended is being implemented, with the exception, well, I shouldn't even say the exception. The other thing that hasn't been done that's being examined is looking at moving to another position. Is it possible for us to turn over the airport to the Lebanese Armed Forces, move to another position, or move the ships? And what's the impact on our mission of doing that?
Mr. President, I forgot to add one thing. We have called a full investigation within the department. Retired Admiral Long, formerly Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific, is heading that, and they will get to work starting today, and we'll have a full and complete report of their findings just as quickly as we can make it, and it will be constituted as an independent body that will examine the whole thing.
Mr. President, may we address questions?
Yes.